right here.
Okay.
Just so we can get closer. And okay, so we're gonna say you tee off from right here, right? Somewhere in there. And then the green is over here. So I'm gonna take a screenshot of that so we can draw some lines.
Okay.
Oh, that wasn't a good screenshot. Get the entire hole in here. Okay, so okay. Okay, so now, so I'll mark where, whoops, undo. Sorry, I'm not the best at this. How do I drag? Why isn't it let me drag it? Oh, there it is. Okay, so let's just say somewhere in there is right where you're going to be teeing off, right? Edit, undo that. So right in there. Okay, so if I take this, so if we look right about here is probably the widest part, right? And it probably ends right there.
Okay.
And that's where it gets a little bit more narrow, right?
Yeah.
So we want to hit something that, because you can also see, so if we go there, see how you have more room to the left water? So maybe we're going there, right? So we want to know what the distance is to that widest point, because it's a 3-shot hole anyways, right?
Yeah.
So where, let's just say, since we don't have, this is like a 500-yard hole, right? And the 150 is about right here. So I'll just mark that for, delete that, there we go. So if we say this is about the 150, right?
Yes.
And then we'll put another one. So we're going to have to guess a little bit on I don't know why it keeps drawing that line when I do that. So this is 100, right? So we'll say this is about 200. So this is about 250 out from the green, right? So it's probably, so if this is 500 yards from here, that's 250 to there. How far do you hit your driver?
For the good shot, probably like 250.
250, okay. So this, let's say this is 200 yards. You have to hit it between, let's change that color. Whoops. Am I going to change it? Yeah. So this is where, why do I keep doing that? So we want to hit it right there, correct? Right? So anywhere in there is good, right? So this is 200 yards to here, 250 there. So how far, you probably carry your driver 225.
Yeah.
Is that when you hit it perfect, like 225?
Yeah.
So we probably want to hit the driver just in case we hit it thin and it only carries, because it's probably 200 to clear this water here, right? So you would hit a driver, but do you know where you normally aim? Do you have a target usually out here? So that's where the mound is that you can kind of see.
Normally I aim in the middle because sometimes I pull it up on the left.
So what's your natural shot shape? What do you like to play? Curve it to the left or curve it to the right?
Curve to the left.
Curve to the left?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can curve it to the left, like it's easy, right? If you're relaxed and you just swing, right? So what I would do, because you got a lot more room left than you do right, correct?
Yes.
So I would probably start at right center of the fairway and just let it go. And if it overhooks, you still got probably 60 yards. As long as it as long as you don't go past that 250 mark. But if you know, okay, if I really hit it good, it could go 260, then I would scale back to a 3-wood. Because even over on the right, like if you're drawing it, if you're let's see if I draw a line. So if you hit a draw, it's going to kind of start down the right and then go that way. But you can see if you don't hit it so good, it's not that far to carry right there. It's probably 185, 190, right? Or if you totally pull it, 170. But that's where you have options like, okay, I know if I hit it really good, it could go 260. You probably don't want to hit the driver because you might be a little tentative with it and then just make a bad swing. You always want to take the club you can just be aggressive, and you always want to play based on your best possible shot. So that way you can commit, trust, and know I only max out at 240 if I hit a perfect draw. And so then you can go at it and make a better swing. You're subconsciously going to commit to it more versus like, oh, I could hit it 260, and if I overdraw it, it's going to get in that water.
Yeah.
So, and then it's a 3-shot hole anyway, so hitting it 230 versus 260 it's the same thing, because then if you hit it 230, now you have, so it's a 500-yard hole, 230, so you have 270.
Yeah.
So you only have to hit a 170 shot to get it all the way up there, 100 yards out, or say, so now this is the widest area layup, right? Short of that bunker. And so say you have 230 and you have 170 to there, you want to choose a club that maxes out at 170 if you hit it the best of your life. And so maybe you only hit at 150. Well, you're now, still in a wide spot right there, right? It's just you don't want to take a little more because then that down slopes to the water too. But this is one of the best holes where there's not really a bell out, and I'll show you. So then I'll show you like a hole over on the highlands, because this is probably one of the best holes I think in town, because it doesn't give you much of a bell out off the tee. So now if we go over to most of the holes, like say, so where's the clubhouse? Right here. So this is number 1, right?
Yeah.
So if we go over here, and so here's the tee box for number 1, right? So say this is a blue tee right there. So you have a black and white pole right there, and you have a black and white pole right there because it's a 2 fairway. But it's amazing how many times I see people aim at that pole, because you only got 20 yards of missing over there, right?
Yeah.
And you bring that bunker into play. But if you aim at this pole, as long as you carry it 200 yards, you have all the way across 18 fairway, right? And you're not blocked out. I mean, everything. So you should just aim for there, right? And so the Highlands course, every hole it gives you a bell out. So here's the Highlands number 1. So here's the back tee. So if we go to blue right here, so they have that pole right there. But if you're coming from this angle, see how it aligns you this way, right? And there's a mound just past the 150, like right there. It's about 210 because the hole's 350. So 350, you hit a 200-yard shot, and that goes to about there. So then say you hit your driver 250. So now you're more in there, and it could kick left, or you pull it 5 yards, now you're there. But if you take a club that, see how there's brush on the right, and so you take a club that maxes out at 200 yards, say, because that's 200 to there. So now you've opened up, all of this, right? And yes, we want to hit the fairways, but Tiger Woods in his prime was hitting 58% of his fairways. So we're not playing a U.S. Open, and this bunker is very flat. There's not many lips. So worst case, yeah, we want to aim down the right center, but we can be aggressive with that 5-iron, because if we pull it, we're not getting to the mound to kick left in the stuff. You just want to be anywhere. You always got to pick a safe target, like left or right. So on this example, I don't know how to draw a line, but the direction safe aggressive play would be the right center of the fairway. If anything, it's over here, right? And then distance wise, we want to err short of 200 yards. So say we hit it really bad, okay, we're back here with like 180 in. But we can make a par still, bogey at worst, right? We just hit a bad shot. Golf is hard, but you don't want to take a driver because now you're bringing that into play. And then you're also, okay, well, I'm going to aim at the pole. Well, now if I had a driver perfect, I'm probably kicking in the bushes. And so I see that all the time. That's why I like the Highlands to do course management, because every hole you can see, like on this one. So this is number 2, right? Going up that way. So if we zoom out, and so say you're playing the blue tee here, so you're aiming probably there. But see, if you clear right here, say it's 210, you from 210 to say 280, you have this whole area you can miss in the 9 fairway. But people go here and, like for you, you hit a draw. So say you just draw just a little too much. Well, you draw 10 yards, and now those mounds over here kick it into the bushes, right? And so you would want to probably aim it inside that bunker and just let it go. And if that's not comfortable, because this is flat and this is a 5, I think it's 470 from the blue tee. But the second shot is kind of intimidating too, right? Where you can't really see, and it looks like there's, so you're probably, unless you have a iron in your hand, which you'd have to hit a 280-yard drive, you probably don't want to go at this green anyways, because that kicks that way, right? You got these bunkers. You can't really run it up unless you squeeze it there. So you could, just because it's a par 5 doesn't mean you have to hit driver. It's like if you got to evaluate the risk rewards, and a lot of it, like you may say, or I may say, that doesn't fit my eye because I cut the ball. So I may hit a 3-wood off the tee, but you're like, well, I draw it and the hole kind of curves to the left. So if it's, so you just got to, okay, am I going to 100% commit to that? And what are the odds? Well, the odds are pretty good because it's fairly generous. But even though it's generous, I cut the ball, and I'd be like, I'm going to cut it in those bushes because I hit a 270. I may hit a hybrid off the tee just to eliminate that bunker. And so, because I'm going to lay up anyways, right? And so that's where every shot you just want to be like, okay, short or long. So for me on this example, on number 2, I would err, short of this bushes, and I would probably err short of this bunker to like right in there. And then you may, your driver goes 260, say max, so you can start it at this corner of the bunker and swing hard, then you're never going to reach these bushes, right? Because also if you miss to the right and you're a right-hander, your club face is open, it's not going very far, so you're probably going to hit 230. So you can be aggressive and confident, make a better swing. But then say you do what you want to do, now say it gets a good bounce, you got an iron in, So every shot you just got to kind of evaluate that and find targets. And I can show you on this 18 Birdies app, when you're out there, even if you played the course a bunch, you still don't know. Like I use it still, like, okay, let's find the open spot.
App too. 18 Birdie?
Yeah.
Okay.
So does that all make sense so far? Okay.
You see that something that kind of safe and
so
your distance and
so you always want, like Tiger said this, I think at the Tour Championship, like he played really good one round, and he said in his post-conference or post-round interview, I had really good targets today, and what the average viewer doesn't always talking about, but he knew, like it one suited his eye, but he identified I can be aggressive right there and go at it, and I have a safe bell out. And good players instinctually kind of make sure that's their belt. They try to commit and hit a good shot, but instinctually they're going to miss over to the right, say on this number 2 or number 1 on Highlands. But then you get to courses where you're like, there's no, like number 7, say, and it doesn't fit my eye. Then that's what Tiger's saying. Like I have a lot of good, lines and targets out there where I can, make aggressive swings is what he said. And so like, cause if you can identify that and you understand your game, you can, be more aggressive and not, we're going to hit bad shots, but your miss, it plays into your miss. So as long as you identify it. So.